I know all this news came out earlier in the week, but I just wanted to wait just in case we got some more Texans news. Like, for example, I don't know, a Tyrann Mathieu re-signing, a Christian Covington re-signing, Kaimi Fairbairn re-signing, or anything of that nature. But we didn't get any more Texans news. That will probably come maybe today, Friday, or during the weekend, because legal tampering period does start on Monday. So the Texans are running out of time. If the Texans come out with any more news of re-signings or anything, then I will post those videos immediately. But this is just a video on my thoughts on the whole Jadeveon Clowney franchise tag and Kevin Johnson getting cut. Now, let's start off with Kevin Johnson. As you guys know, all offseason, since the offseason started, I've been saying Kevin Johnson is getting cut. I mean, the signs were clearly there. He got a concussion. He was pretty much good to go, right off the bat. But the Texans IR'd him, and they chose all season not to bring him back. And the reason they did that is because they put the 5th-year option on him, and the 5th-year option is only fully guaranteed if the player's hurt. So they left Kevin Johnson on IR all year long so he wouldn't get hurt, so they'd be able to trade him or cut him. Apparently they did try to shop him, but like I've been telling everyone, Kevin Johnson had no trade value at all. So he got cut. And I mean, there is a small portion of the fan base that is upset about it, but it had to happen. For the most part, everyone was already done with Kevin Johnson. Even me, who I was supporting Kevin Johnson up until last season, even I wanted him gone because I knew the guy is just so injury prone, and I don't see Kevin Johnson going back to that 2015-2016 form where he was actually really damn good and where he actually showed some potential, good potential. Now, it just wasn't going to happen in Houston. If Kevin Johnson was to ever get back to being what he was in 2015 and 2016, his rookie year and his second year, it wasn't going to happen in Houston. It had to happen somewhere else because sometimes players just need a change of scenery. Now, personally, I don't think Kevin Johnson will be good for another team. I think the injuries have piled up too much. I think those foot injuries is what really got him, because Kevin Johnson's best trait as a corner was his ability to break on the ball. That was his thing. I mean, the guy was legitimately good. There's a highlight video out there of Kevin Johnson. If you guys don't believe me and think Kevin Johnson has been trash his whole career, go watch that highlight video and you guys will see, like, damn, this guy was actually pretty good. But people tend to forget because they remember the injuries, they remember the terrible play, and it was just a loss of confidence with Kevin Johnson and, injuries piling up and causing him to lose some of his physical traits. So that kind of happened to him. Again, I don't see him being good for another team, but there is a small chance that it could happen because, again, sometimes players just need a change of scenery. Like, who's to say he doesn't go, I don't know, to Buffalo or Cleveland and just performs well for a change. Maybe he stays healthy and he builds upon that. Who knows? But to me, it's a move that obviously had to happen. The Texans need to revamp that corner group because last year it was atrocious. And Kevin Johnson, first round pick, they were counting on him to kind of have a bounce back year maybe. But obviously he had the concussions. I believe it was like preseason week 3 and like week 1. And he just didn't look that good, honestly. Week 1, he was getting torched. Tyrann Mathieu even yelled at him on the sideline. Pretty sure you guys remember that little heated exchange. Well, it was kind of one-sided because it was just Tyrann Mathieu yelling at him, and he was just there like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. So, yeah, it had to happen. The Texans saved $9 million in cap And, you know, anytime you can save some cap space, it's good. Really good, because you could use that cap space for something else. Now, for the next thing. Jadeveon Clowney getting franchise tag. Now, personally, at first, I was a little bit upset about it because I want Clowney to get paid. I want Clowney here long term. And that's pretty much it. That's why I was upset about it. But, you know, the franchise tag, it keeps Clowney here for one more year. And I'm happy with that because how many times have the Texans not let talented players just walk out the front door? For example, AJ Boye most recently. Mario Williams. Glover Quinn. You know, sometimes they just let players walk out the front door when they can use the franchise tag to keep them. The franchise tag is there for a reason, so you gotta use it. And the Texans, for the second time in franchise history, I believe, the first time since, like, God, I don't remember, but I remember the last time the Texans used it, it was on Dante Robinson, the corner. He ended up riding on his cleats, pay me, Rick. So maybe that traumatized Rick Smith into never using the franchise tag again. I don't know. But the Texans had never used the franchise tag ever since then. And, you know, it's a good thing that they used it because letting Clowney walk out the front door was not an option. Why? Because if Clowney were to walk out that front door, Clowney would go right to Indianapolis, without a doubt. So it is very smart that the Texans franchise tagged him. It was the right move. You know, obviously I'm upset that they couldn't get the deal done, the long-term deal. But, you know, sometimes both sides can't come into an agreement. So that's why the franchise tag is there. So now the Texans have him for at least one more year. If they don't reach a longer-term agreement, or, you know, they could just franchise tag him again next year. Who knows what they'll do moving forward with Clowney. But the Texans do want to continue to negotiate a long-term deal with him. And, you know, I 100% agree with that. I think Clowney should definitely be in the long-term plans for this franchise. I think he's an excellent player, and I think he deserves that long-term deal with some guaranteed money because, let's be honest, Clowney is arguably our most dominant player on that defensive front. Clowney has definitely earned some money, a pay raise, but obviously something has to be off. They can't come into an agreement right now. Maybe Clowney wants more money. Maybe he wants more guaranteed money. Maybe he wants a longer deal. Maybe he wants a shorter deal. Who knows what Clowney wants? Because at the end of the day, if they had already agreed on a contract, they would have signed it. There's some sort of disagreement going on there, and, you know, they franchise tagged him, and now we get to keep him for another year. Now, I know some people have been saying, tag and trade, tag and trade, tag and trade, tag and trade. No, 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 no. No, because we need Jadeveon Clowney really, really bad. He's arguably the best player on that defensive front. You can argue J.J. Watt, fine. But the big thing here is that nobody's considering is just because J.J. Watt had a fully healthy 16-game season, well, 17 game if you count the wild card game. Just because J.J. had a full healthy season doesn't mean it's going to happen again. J.J. Watt does get older. Maybe he can get hurt again. It's a possibility now. I'm hoping it doesn't happen, obviously. But say it does. If Watt gets hurt, that defensive front, garbage. Garbage, garbage, garbage. That's what it goes to. No pressure, no nothing. You can argue Whitney Merciless, but guess what? We have never seen Whitney Merciless by himself in that defensive front. So we have no idea if Whitney Merciless can be a one-man wrecking crew. J.J. Watt, you know, he did it in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. He was pretty much a one-man wrecking crew. Jadeveon Clowney, he did it in 2016 and 2017. Especially 2017. He was all alone, one-man wrecking crew. So if JJ gets hurt and Clowney's not there, we're screwed. But if JJ gets hurt and Clowney's there, you know, we'll be fine. We need Jadeveon Clowney more than some people realize. Now, as far as the whole transition tag thing, where, you know, another team can come in and offer Clowney a contract, and then the Texans get 2 second-round picks. Let's be real here. There is no team that would offer Jadeveon Clowney $20 million a year and would give the Texans 2 first-round picks to go with it. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I just don't see it. So I'm going to stop talking about it. Now, the last thing regarding the whole franchise tag is Jadeveon Clowney going to hold out? Now, obviously, there's been some rumors that Jadeveon Clowney will hold out, and, you know, it wouldn't surprise me one bit at all. Not because of the player Jadeveon Clowney is or anything like that, but because that's what everyone does. Player gets franchise tagged, he holds out. Why? You know, just so they won't get hurt. Honestly, they don't hold out all season. They just hold out throughout the off season, so they miss those training camps, the OTAs. They just don't show up to those now. I could see Clowney showing up just because of the type of player he is, but it wouldn't shock me one bit if he held out. But, you know, he will be back week 1 to play for the season. But it just wouldn't surprise me if, you know, he didn't show up to OTAs and training camp and all that. But hopefully the deal's done by then. So, anyways, that's pretty much all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.